This video demonstrates the usage of switch statements in C++. We're going to write a program that asks the user to choose an arithmetic operation, then combines two numbers using that operation. So we need to have two numbers. We'll have num1, we'll assign the value 4. We'll have num2, which will assign the value 5. We need to have a result, which we don't know what the result will be, but we'll just assign it 0 for now. And finally, we need to have an arithmetic operation. So we'll store that as a char, and we'll call that the op, short for, let's just say operation. There you go. And we'll assign that the value null character. Okay, so first thing we need to do is ask the user to enter an operation. And the operations that'll be possible, we'll do positive, a plus, minus, multiply, divide. And we'll store that selection by the user into the variable operation. And just to test we're doing this right, let's output operation with a new line and see if our program's starting off well. Okay, so if we were to do multiply, then our operation is a multiplication. Alright, now we'll use a switch statement to choose which operation to perform. So we have switch operation and brackets, and then we have the case of plus. And if it's a plus, then what do we want result to be? Result will be num1 plus num2. Let's go ahead and run this to see how we're doing so far. Compile. We have an error on line 20, and it was expecting a colon before result. Here's result. Before this, the compiler was expecting a colon. So actually, looking to the line before, after the case statement, we forgot to add a colon. So let's save, compile, and let's say we did a plus. Alright, no runtime errors, no compilation errors. So let's take a look at what result actually is. So let's say what the result is of 4 plus 5. That'll be our test case. Let's compile and run. The result is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay. What if we were to subtract? We choose subtraction. The result says 0. Why is the result 0? Well, in the case statements, there's no cases for subtraction, and so result never changes, and it just remains the default value of 0. Let's add a case for subtraction. And what we'll say is the result is num1 minus num2. Let's take a look. Okay, so if we do subtraction, we get the result of -1. Let's see, is that right? Num1 is 4, num2 is 5, so 4 minus 5 is -1. That's fine. What if we were to add them? If we add them, we get -1 again, which is incorrect. It should have been 9, and we had the 9 working earlier, but we broke our addition. So what went wrong? Well, we forgot to add a break. And what ends up happening when you do not have a break is first, when the operation was a plus, it went to the case for plus, and it correctly evaluated result to be 9. But since there was not a break, it then went to the next case and executed the code performing subtraction, which makes result into -1. To demonstrate that that's what happened, let's just do an intermediary result output here, and in front of this we'll say test. So we're running a test. So let's try compiling and execute. Let's say what happens when we do a plus. Aha, see there, test 9, so that's here. We get the correct result of 9, but then the subtraction code is run, and in the end we end up with the result of -1, which is incorrect. So that's an easy fix. We add the word break. Let's save. No, we should also add a break after the subtraction to be consistent. So we save, compile, execute. If we do a plus, the result is 9, which is correct. And if we subtract, the result is -1, which is correct. All right. Well, before we go further with the case statements, I'd like to make our output a little bit more meaningful to read. So I'd like it to say whatever the value is num1, then the operator, then the value of num2 equals the result. So I want to have num1 and then the operation and then num2 and then say equals the result. Let's take a look and see if that looks correct. So if we use plus, then it says 4 plus 5 equals 9. And if we do minus, then 4 minus 5 equals -1. That looks nicer, easier to read. So how about the case of multiplication? Well, it's just result equal to num1 minus num2 with a break. Don't misspell break. Actually, I'm just going to copy paste this line to do the division because typos are far too easy to come by. So here we have division, and here we have multiplication. Oop. Let's give this a try. We've saved, compiled, execute. Let's try plus. Plus works. How about subtraction? Subtraction works. Multiplication. Yep, 4 times 5 is 20. And division. 4 divided by 5 is 0, which is correct because we're dividing two integers, and when you have an integer dividing by an integer, we lose the decimal value. So the exact result of 4 divided by 5 is 0.8, but we lose the 0.8 because they're integers, not floating points. Okay, so what happens if we wanted to do something like, what if they didn't type in one of the right characters? What if they put an A? Then 4A5 equals 0. No, that's not quite right. What about 5? 4, 5, 5 equals 0? No. We need a default in our switch statement to pick up when this is wrong. So I'm going to put default, and we're going to say not a valid operation, and let's add an end line. So we know that something went wrong, but we have handled the case. So let's try this. So if I do plus, 4 plus 5 is 9. If I do division, 4 divided by 5 is 0. That's fine. What if we did an A? Not a valid operation. So that's good. Okay. Thank you very much.